So yeah, I'm a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, cocked, and ready to rock the Glock around the clock guy because of the energy and the piss and vinegar. What you noticed at the Rainbow concert with my band, the ferocity of real music lovers that tune in and hone in on musicians that put their heart and soul to be as tight and dynamic and outrageous and defiant and fun and grooving as possible. So even though it's 72 years later since I started, I was born in 1948. Jay, I'm having more fun. I got a Gibson Birdland guitar here and a bunch of amps I experimented with this morning, like I do every day. And it defies gravity. The old 72-year-old limping guitar player is more energized and have more fun than I ever have because of Jason Hartless on drums, Greg Smith on bass guitar. Here in Texas, I got John Kutz and Johnny Big. So the whirlwind of that original horny kidney guitar in the garage with his first amplifier, Jay, it's more intense now than ever. In fact, my drummer said the other day, if the 20-year-old Ted Nugent showed up, I'd kick his ass because the music makes me do it. It's still alive and well, man.
Yeah, well, we feel it. And I definitely want to be the first to testify that you are the anti-racist because I love soul music. I love black musicians. And every show I've ever seen with you, you are giving it up for Bo Diddley, Chuck
Yes.
Berry, Little Richard, Howlin' Wolf. I mean,
Yes.
you name it, you shout it out. And those aren't just words and names, but I can tell it comes from the heart. And you're an extension of what these brothers started.
Well, the sincerity is inescapable unless you're on acid and you think that you think that comfortably numb benefits your mother. So my point being is, I'm glad you brought that up because just recently I reminisced on some ultra classic rock site how to this day, as I just exalted and celebrated with you, how the music still energizes me because I still listen to James Brown and Wilson Pickett and Motown classics. I still listen to Chuck Berry and Howlin' Wolf. We still play that stuff. I still play that stuff every day. So you never forget when you're in the vortex of that emotional musical authority of those black originators. They were the founding fathers of the most emotional, intense, believable, honest, dynamic, outrageous, defiant, cocky, sexy, fun music in the history of the world. And when I quote a funk brother who was they were the gods of all music, and to this day they retain that title. And when I quoted a funk brother that referenced it as this little kid who opened up for the Supremes in Detroit in 1963, we really tried to play like Motown, and we did. A damn good job for little stupid white kids. But the black god of our musical heroes came over to us on stage at Cobo Hall when my band, The Lourdes, opened up for the Supremes back then. You know, talking about a whirlwind, out of body, Zen samurai, above the clouds excitement. And he referenced that if I keep playing like I play, that I could enter the realm. I won't use the N word that he used. The funk brother described my music using the N word, which I'm embarrassed that I'm referencing a letter instead of quoting a great man who only used the word as the ultimate compliment to the soulfulness of the work ethic that my band represented, practicing so hard to try to be like our black heroes. So thank you for bringing that up, because if ever there was a civil rights leader, anti-racist force in the world, I qualify in the top 1%, because you're right. I've done 6,751 concerts. I think I counted them all, going back to sock hops and pool parties and Walt's malt shop and in the basement of the church. I counted all my gigs. Jay, I have never failed to express with great reverence where this musicality of my great musician comrades comes from. And it comes from black guys. No white guy ever inspired a soulful, sexy song. So I've always done that. And in the world of the lie of political correctness and the soullessness, the hate-driven cancel culture and this stupid anti-culture war, it's against the very foundation of quality of life. They attacked me. lying through their ass. But of course, you notice I always have a smile on my face when I talk about this because stupid doesn't offend me. It kind of entertains me. They're so stupid because so many people love the music that me and my bandmates have made and the work ethic that has gone into it and the reference constantly to the greatest musical authority and influences in the world. And they just happen to all be black. Now, Jerry Lee Lewis, I'll let you tell him he's not black. And Elvis Presley, and Stevie Ray Vaughan, so many. Billy get the whole ZZ Top thing. So many musicians will tell you where that spirit came from. It came from those original gospel blues, rhythm and blues gods. So people who call Ted Nugent a racist probably are racists.
Yeah, it's true. And hats off to your drummer Jason and bass player Greg. You guys put it down every show.
Yes.
And I know we're losing so many of these founding fathers. Having just lost Chuck Berry and Little Richard in the last
Yes.
couple of years.
Yes.
It's time to give these guys their flowers while they're here. Let's not wait until they're past to praise them. I felt that Little Richard felt like everybody came in and picked his carcass, for all the ideas and left him unrecognized. And I know you bring it every night, and the power of their music comes through your fingers and through your voice.
Well, thank you.
And
thank you for that.
I know you're forever grateful for them.
Yes, but so many other artists do. I mean, all the ZZ Top guys do it. Sammy Hagar does it all the time. The Chili Peppers do it all the time. Joe Bonamassa does it all the time. Aerosmith does it all the time. Van Halen recognized, made a hit record out of Dancing in the Streets. And Jay, when I opened up for Billy Lee and the Rivieras in 1961 at the Walled Lake Casino in Novi, Michigan, in Walled Lake, Michigan, the opening band was my band, the Lourdes, and then there was a new band in Detroit named Martha and the Vandellas. I opened up for these people, so the Van Halen reverence for that original pulsating, soulful music of Motown, I have that connection because I was there. I played with Martha and the Vandellas. And Jay, if people are questioning my energy level, it's because I played bass guitar for Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley. How could I not be an excitable son of a bitch after being in that vortex of the founding fathers of soulful music? So I'm very proud of my heritage, and you're right. Greg and Jason and I and Johnny and John here in Texas, we do bring it every night because we love the music like a bunch of kids hearing that authority of Chuck and Bo and Little Richard and certainly James Brown and everything Motown. I could name them all because we still play those songs. So thank you for bringing that up. I think that's the most important thing about music is where it came from, why it came from them, and how to continually reference them with deep, deep emotional and sincere reverence so that you watch Bruno Mars. Where the hell do you think he got that? And he's one of my favorite artists of all time. The guy's got the stuff. He gets a little too pop for me once in a while. But boy, he at least references what Michael Jackson, and I met Michael. Michael came to my concert at Madison Square Garden. So if I give off electronic pulsations everywhere I go, it's because I've been with the greatest that ever walked the earth. And I keep that heritage alive in my playing. I wrote a song this morning called Driving Blind, which is just a grinding groove that I'd think that the Motown Funk Brothers would probably enjoy.
Absolutely. Those roots are so important. I know you're working on an incredible album to come. I got to give it up to Alice Cooper. Detroit Stories,
Yes,
his latest album. Sounds like one of the best albums he's done in years. Brought all those Michigan players, Johnny B, Mark Farner, Wayne Kramer, brought them all in, paying tribute to the roots in Detroit. Is amazing.
Absolutely. There's a powerful heritage and spiritual pulsation. I was born in Detroit in 1948. And there were already killer bands. And I have to reference Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels. They were originally Billy Lee and the Rivieras when my band, the Lourdes, performed with them. And they delivered such a soulful, spiritual, animal pulse because they were doing everything in their power. Billy LeVice on vocals, Johnny Benagic, God, the god of drums, Jimmy McCarty on Gibson Birdland through a Fender Twin, Joe Kubrick through a Gibson 335 through a Fender Twin, and the great Earl Elliott playing a Rickenbacker through a B-15. I mean, I remember it like it just happened this morning. And they were so tuned in to their black heroes that it taught the Lords, we already knew that, but it showed what could be done. And remember, Billy Lee and the Rivieras that turned into Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels shortly thereafter, they were teenagers. I think Johnny Benagic was 15. I think I was going on 13 or 12 or 13. And there's this work ethic driven unity of musical love and pursuit of intensity, again, that was perfected by the black artists. And we listened to all that. And Billy Lee and the Rivieras turned into Mitch Ryder, the Detroit Wheels, kept it going. To this day, I keep in touch with Mitch and Johnny and Jimmy. I just bought Jimmy's 1968 Fender Twin that he recorded Jenny Take a Ride and Devil with the Blue Dress and Sock It To Me on. So there is a spiritual, deep co-reference and reverence for those original masters that here it is 2021. And I got to tell you, thank God for a bunch of us, but we're keeping that alive. And again, my last record was titled The Music Made Me Do It, because the music makes me do it. So I couldn't be more excited about the new songs and the new tour. I hope to God we get the green light. People are so horny for killer live music. So 2021 has been really ugly and stupid around the globe. But real hardworking Americans can still prioritize, make intelligent and responsible choices in the music world, in the welding world, in the butcher world, in the teaching world. I'm not so sure about the teaching world overall. But quality of life comes from quality of dedication, work ethic, prioritization, God, family, country, freedom, law and order, and all that really radical stuff. It's controversial stuff. Anyhow, so that's still alive and well, Jay, and I appreciate you allowing me to pontificate on your Rock Forever get down here.
Yeah, we absolutely love it. And we love the purity of your soul in bringing this music, because so many of your cohorts, so many of your friends out there in these other bands went down the trail of narcotics and alcohol abuse and cocaine addiction and all that, only to now become sober. You've had that clarity all your life and brought the music without the cloud, without the distortion of thinking that these narcotics are going to write your best songs for you. So salute to you for that purity. And the artists today, everybody's sober. They're clean in general, you know, and it looks like an athletic event behind the scenes before the show.
Yeah, and it's a very, very happy moment, because I saw so many of my fellow musicians desperately trying to escape the energy tsunami of creating and performing this wonderful music that we all so love. And lucky me, I had bows and arrows. I had archery. I had the Zen, the samurai mystical flight of the arrow. In fact, there's a whole bunch of arrows behind me. I don't know what you can see here, but I shoot my bow every day. And I cannot overstate it, even though I've tried to for the last 50 years. When you dive into heart and soul, the music that turns you on, it's so stimulating, it's so invigorating, so exciting, that it's very difficult to escape it. You know, we always get this song in our head and we can't get rid of it. Well, so many artists were so bombarded with that, and this new trend, this lie of peer pressure, somebody might want to write down, I don't really have any peers and no one's capable of pressuring me. This side of Mrs. Nugent. My point being is that this new experimentation with drugs and narcotics was coming on, and I'm watching these unbelievably gifted, great human beings become drooling, stumbling idiots that they're almost like Joe Biden back in the 60s and 70s. I don't mean to be mean to that guy, but he's a perfect example of what happens when you lose your mind and your soul. And I tried to save some of these guys. I said, man, don't do that. I told Bon Scott he was going to die, Jay. I said, no, I don't need your whiskey. No, stop, man. Yeah, and John Belushi, I mean, I said, John, I told him he was going to die. I told Jimi Hendrix, I said, no, I don't, no, I don't need that. It's going to kill you, man. I told Keith Moon, no, I don't know. I don't need your beer. I don't need your dope. Keith, you're so gifted. Why are you doing this? So it's been very frustrating, but again, I cannot overemphasize the definitive escape that my hunting, fishing, trapping, nature participation, tooth, fang, and claw, honest environmental responsibility lifestyle of hunting with a bow and arrow or hitting that duck with my Labradors. And it's so, when I'm at full draw with my bow, there's no Hillary Clinton. There's no Marxist takeover of the White House. There's no Antifa terrorists that are actually supported by the Democrats. There's no Black Lives Matter that aren't about Black Lives Mattering. When I get my bow and arrow or when I play my birdland, I can escape thoroughly. But a lot of those guys, many were weak. Of course, Keith Richards blows my entire theory out of the water. I love Keith. I spent time with Keith, and he's basically a walking chemical repository. But I love Keith, and he has created magic music, and he continues to do so. But so many of my friends did get clean and sober. My great buddy Wayne Kramer of the MC5 is a perfect example. He is so tuned in now. He saved his life after getting to the bottom with his substance abuse and criminal behavior, inspired by the comfortable numbnutness of substance abuse. And Wayne is a great American. He's a great musical authority. He has enriched our lives and continues to do so. He's a hardcore liberal, but he's a dear friend of mine because I don't judge based on ideology unless your ideology kills people or lets people invade your country or takes away guns so that innocent people are dead because you didn't allow them to defend themselves. Good Lord in heaven. So my point is that the music makes me do it. And I've hung out with musician gods of every ethnicity, color, race, creed, gender confusion. It doesn't matter. I just want to know, are you honest? Do you put your heart and soul into your endeavor? And are you an asset to your family, your neighborhood, your country, and me? I don't need you to be an asset for me, but I will be an asset for you by being responsible and be tuned in so that if you stumble, I might be there to catch you because I'm not comfortably numb. Comfortably numb is actually uncomfortably dumb. And people attack me for being anti-substance abuse in between puking and stumbling. And it's just a tragedy, Jay. So you're right. Let's celebrate that many have woke up and many have pursued a clean and sober upgrade in their life. And I salute them and pray for them every day.
Yeah, well, we always say the party is on stage. You don't have to wait till afterwards.
Yes!
Your mind.
Hello!
The party is on stage. And it's so great to hear you're great friends with Tom Morello. You can agree to disagree on political views, but Tom loves the guitar. He's innovated so many sounds.
Yes.
Rage Against the Machines, Audio Slave. It's great to hear that brotherhood. And I know the Call of the Wild has certainly brought you so many treasures. And we're talking about the Ted Nugent Guns, Guitars, and Hot Rod Cars auction.
Holy
Saturday,
smokes!
March 27th, Waco, Texas. Are you kidding me? Are you able to have a piece of history and come down and buy something that Ted has owned?
Not only have I owned it, Jay, but I've fondled it, sweated on it, and created much deep animal spirit mojo. And I know people think I'm a crazy man, and I admit that. I'm crazy like a fox. I'm clean and sober for 72 years. I'm a great husband, a great father. That's what they tell me. A great grandfather. That they tell me that all the time. I'm a good neighbor. I'm a productive American. I create jobs. I hire people around the country. I have a bunch of enterprises that I love. I have passions for the music, promoting conservation, the children's charities and the military charities, law enforcement charities, conservation charities that my wife Shemaine and I are involved in. But I am streamlining. I think we can all agree, I know you agree, Jay, that the greatest philosopher of all times was Dirty Harry when he said, A good man needs to know his limitations. Well, I'm a good man. I need to know my limitations. Jay, can you believe the next words out of my mouth are actually coming out of Ted Nugent's mouth? And the words sound like this: I have too many guns. How can that be? Now, I don't have too much ammo, but I have too many guns. Jay, I have phenomenal firearms art, classic Smith & Wesson Model 2944 Magnums that are scrolled. One has a KISS logo on it that was given to me after one of the KISS tours, one of their last tours, one of their many last tours. I have pieces of firearm art, Jay. Some have been sitting in my safes for over 50 years. Why would you have these phenomenal handguns and rifles and shotguns and 59 and 58 Les Pauls and one-of-a-kind PRS masterpiece pieces of guitar art? Why would you have them and sit them in a room and not use them? So at 72, I'm keeping my favorite 100 guns. Actually, it's a little more than that. I'm keeping my favorite high horsepower, neck snapping torque beasts from Detroit. I'm keeping my best trucks. I'm keeping my best 50 guitars. I'm keeping my best 30 bows and arrows. I'm keeping, believe me, I'm keeping plenty of shit. I got way too much, but I'm auctioning this stuff off because I have to insure it. I have to inventory it with all the guns and guitars. I have to tweak them. I have to clean them. I have to take good care of them. And so I'm unloading all these unbelievable pieces of Nugent artwork and rock and roll memorabilia that it's stored. It's stored in a huge room in a barn. Why would I hang? So I'm selling it. We're having a big Ted Nugent outrageous American Dream Gonzo orgy auction at Tucker Hall, and I will be there on Friday, March 26th and Saturday, March 27th, and I will be exercising a bunch of these guitars on stage to show that they are monster guitar animal breeding soundtrack masters. And I'll be hanging out with people and signing autographs and whatnot. But March 26 and 27 at Tucker Hall in Waco, Texas, right down the road from our ranch here. And it's going to be an auction orgy of some of the coolest stuff you've ever seen in your life. A lot of one-of-a-kind guns. Many of them, the serial number is Nuge 1 or Ted 01 or Nuge Gonzo. I mean, just unbelievable one-of-a-kind masterpiece firearms art, guitar, just unbelievable collectible items. But if I don't use them, I'm getting rid of them, and that's what I'm doing.
Well, absolutely. There's no reason to hoard them. I mean, any one of those items could be on a trophy case, could be a centerpiece for a man cave, anywhere.
Yeah.
And with you, it's in a pile in a warehouse somewhere. So
Yeah.
sharing your love for guitars and cars and guns only makes sense. What a beautiful opportunity for people to come down and really own a piece of history and just, treasure just the love you have for our country, the music that has been spawned from America, and the cars. I mean, our cars and guitars and music is treasured all over the world. TedNugent.com for all the details. We want to see you all down there in Waco for the big auction.
Yeah, people are coming from all around the world. We got a bunch of foreigners flying in because a lot of my guitars, the 59 and 58 Les Pauls are literally holy grail. I'm selling one of my black Gibson Birdlands. I'm keeping Blackie, and in fact, I got so many. I got like 30 some of these beauties, and they still just absolutely scorch. I don't even know what that was, but I hope you recorded it because that could be a song.
Absolutely.
Did that sound all right? I got a killer amp in here. Did it come across the mic okay?
It did. It sounded awesome.